Step 1. Name a national champion. People love champions. It's the whole reason we watch sports. We want to see who can outlast the competition and raise the trophy at the end of the year. We put champions on our hats and our t-shirts and our cars. We keep detailed lists of champions from the past. We love champions so much that we'll watch the playoffs of a sport we don't even like if it means we get to see somebody hold a giant cup over their head at the end. But despite all this, Smash has no national champion. Sure, a guy will win a tournament and it will be a big deal, but that's not a national champion. And sure, there are player rankings that fans can check to see who's the best at any given moment, but that's not a national champion either. A national champion is somebody who can hold up a trophy and say, without dispute or doubt, that he was the best Smasher of the year. So how do we get there? How does Smash name a national champion? Step 2. Create a national circuit. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Smash already has a national circuit. Each weekend, there are tournaments all over the country that Smashers can and do attend. But that's not quite what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a set schedule of major tournaments at which Smashers could earn points toward the Smash national title. Strangely enough, it would be a lot like NASCAR. Let me explain. It might not seem like it at first, but the mainstream sport that has the most in common with Smash in terms of setup is auto racing. Think about it. A large group of competitors travels from city to city to compete in races each weekend. The group of competitors is largely the same at each race. It's only the venue that changes. The top NASCAR drivers, guys like Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jimmy Johnson, and Matt Kenseth, are racing against each other dozens of times a year. Just like the best Smashers, guys like Mango, Armada, Leffen, and Hungrybox are facing off dozens of times a year. Now, I'm simplifying here, but the way NASCAR determines its national champion every year is, basically, by awarding championship points at each of its races, based on the position each driver finishes. The better a driver does at any given race, the more points he earns toward his total for the year. NASCAR has recently added a playoff system, a system that most people hate, I might add. But it used to be that at the end of the year, whoever had the most total points was the national champion. Simple as that. This is precisely the system that Smash should adopt. As a community, Smash fans could vote for some number of events a year that would be denoted as championship events. That is, the results of those events would count toward the Smash National Championship. I would suggest picking the biggest and most well-attended events. Things like EVO, CEO, Paragon, The Big House, Pound, Kings of Cali, etc. The events themselves would be organized and played just as they always have been. The only difference would be that at the end of the day, the top 17 finishers would be awarded some number of championship points based on how they placed. So if Mango won the event, he'd get, say, 50 championship points. If PPMD took second, he'd get 40. Hungrybox would get 35 for third, and so on. Over the course of the year, players would continue to add to their championship points tally, until by the end we'd have a final standings list for the season, and could name a national champion. Then, just like all other professional sports, the points would reset at the start of a new year. This setup would create a year-long, professional-style competition that would bring excitement to both Smashers and Smash fans alike. So where do we go from here? Well, if you like the ideas in this video, if you think creating a Smash national circuit and naming a Smash national champion sounds like a pretty solid step forward, shoot me an email. I'll create a mailing group of Smashers that we can use to begin discussions about the details of all this. I would also propose that the Smash community gather in person at Paragon Los Angeles in September to talk about this. We can spend an hour or two working together to figure out how to make it all a reality. By the way, if you're wondering, my name is Jeffrey King, and when I'm not playing Smash, I'm writing and producing television.
We're already running a check on recent commercial burglars, see if anyone's...
But the only reason I even bring that up is to let you know that I spend most of my days organizing shit like this. I know what I'm doing, and I know that what I'm proposing can work. So let's make it happen. Because, come on, I can't be the only person who thinks it would be pretty fucking awesome to kick off the first annual Smash Nationals in 2016.